So we got to see Ousmane Dembele masterclass against a tough athletic side. We saw United continue to show great signs of improvement under Erik ten Hag, and we also saw Kovacic pretty much get naked on the pitch. Absolutely giving it all away for the fans. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Weekend Recap. I am your host guy, Adrian. That's my official title. It's host guy. And hey, I want to thank you guys for watching all the shorts we've been putting out lately. It's a new endeavor on the channel, but you've been reacting to them quite well. I figured a good cadence for the channel would be 3 full-length videos per week, plus 2 shorts. Not an overload of content, just enough, you know? Plus the shorts allow me to do more short videos on topics that aren't necessarily deserving of a full video. Not yet, at least. Anyway, I'll shut up now and continue talking in 3 seconds. Union Berlin have been stopped. Well, it's actually the second time they've lost this season, as VfL Bochum have proven once again that they can be giant killers on their day, or at least the league leader killers, when they invite teams into their yard. They did it last season against Bayern. They also beat Eintracht Frankfurt 3-0 at home, and now they've beaten Union 2-1 at home. What a funny team. Union with some major missed opportunities in this one, namely the penalty that Bochum's Manuel Riemann saved. 2-1 for the boys. After suffering against Bayern Munich last weekend, Freiburg are back to the winning column as they beat Werder Bremen 2-0. That's 2 successive matches where Füllkrug and the boys have been unable to score. Of course, Werder didn't really help themselves, or at least Marco Friedl didn't help them, as he got himself sent off after 14 minutes. And while it took Freiburg a while for the breakthrough, they got there in the end. Vincenzo Grifo at the heart of both goals, setting up the first and converting the penalty for the second. 2-0 Freiburg. Leverkusen are still struggling to truly find themselves, but at least their overall performance was a bit better this weekend as they drew 2-2 with Wolfsburg. 2 teams that have the same energy in my brain for some reason. Köln and Mainz. I can't articulate why at the moment. Maybe I'll have an answer for you next time they face each other, but only one team came with the energy as they faced off this weekend, and with Mainz absolutely thrashing Köln 5-0. They're on 15 and 16 points respectively, so Mainz jumps up ahead of them. A match with no repeat scorers, by the way. That's a bit atypical. But 5-0 was a typical scoreline this weekend in the Bundesliga, if the definition of typical was that, you know, just 2 matches held that scoreline. Borussia Dortmund absolutely smashed poor Stuttgart this weekend. These guys are in the shit at the moment. Sacked their manager, and things haven't improved at all. Losing Sasha Kaladzic has been rough, and Kobel before him. 2 big losses, 2 seasons in a row. Anyway, Jude Bellingham must have taken not winning the Copa or Golden Boy personally, as Gavi was the winner of both, which I found interesting in a way, ahead of Musiala as well. Surprising, not that I think he's undeserving of getting plaudits, I just thought that Bellingham and Musiala had just been that bit more impressive this past season. But anyway, by this past season, I mean last season, of course. In my eyes, at least. So yeah, Bellingham with a brace, Sula with a goal from the free kick. Gio Reyna got his first Bundesliga goal since August of 2021. Which was surprising. I guess he has indeed been slammed by injuries, but still. Youssoufa Moukoko continues to show that he wasn't just hype as a team. He got his 4th goal of the season to go with his assist on the day. Dortmund are streaky. Win, draw, loss, draw, win in their last 5 matches. That's perfectly balanced. RB Leipzig will have some major split feelings on their match away to Augsburg. Disappointment in themselves for going 3-0 down, but proud that they took advantage of the one-man advantage to turn things completely around and draw 3-3 away to Augsburg. A bit of a bipolar performance, no? 2 subs and Nkunku and Ramos getting goals for Leipzig, Andre Silva with the other one. It's hard to judge the start for Marco Rosa. It's been chaotic. Eintracht Frankfurt beat Gladbach 3-1. Gladbach is another team that is having a weird season. I guess in general, the Bundesliga is incredibly difficult to call, isn't it? As we look at the scores and standings here, fellas, you can see that 1st and 12th are separated by just 9 points. That's insane. Bayern beating Hoffenheim 2-0 with goals from Musiala and Choupo-Moting. That is huge for Bayern because Hoffenheim is sometimes one of those teams that gives them a bit of trouble, aren't they? Or at least has been capable of beating them in the past. So looking at the top of the table, 23, 22, 21, and the countdown goes on. Sorry, Bayern supporters. I mean, I speak of you guys so often, and you'll absolutely be spoken of again. In fact, you'll be spoken of midweek. Well. One of the newly promoted sides has gone above and beyond my expectations thus far in La Liga. Real Valladolid got themselves a big 1-0 win over whom? Real Sociedad. Sergio León with the goal for Valladolid, a big win that snapped Sociedad's 8-match winning streak across all competitions. Rayo Vallecano hosted Cadiz and Vallecas, Madrid, and a friend of mine from the blog Into the Calderon was there to witness it, and you gotta love a stadium that's right in the middle of a residential area, no? I mean, look at this, people watching from their windows of their apartments, you love to see that. And the match itself was a wild one, a hot-headed one as well, if nothing else, but it had goals galore. 5-1 Rayo Vallecano. Don't lose track of these boys. They may be mid-table now, but they are within striking distance of the top 6 or so. One of those teams that Rayo could soon usurp, Valencia, who fell at home at the Mestalla to Mallorca. My goodness, Mallorca are a frustrating side. Losing 1-0 away thanks to another goal from Edinson Cavani, which was another penalty by the way. Muriqi converted one for himself to bring Mallorca level, and in the 83rd minute, Kengan Lee gave Mallorca the win, their first since September 17th, 5 matches prior. Real Madrid hosted Sevilla at the Bernabeu, and with Vinicius taking advantage of a mistake from the defender, he exhibited his incredible vision to roll the ball between multiple defenders to Luquita for 1-0 after 5 minutes. However, it was Vini who would make a mistake that would be a costly error and brought Sevilla level. He tried to let the ball run and catch it on the other side, like he did to Fernandinho last season, but Sevilla latched on, played it through to Lamela, and it just squeaked under Courtois for 1-1. Vini was a bit frustrated on the day. He set up the winner for Real Madrid in the 79th minute, played through the heart. He could have taken it himself, but he unselfishly dished right to Vasquez for 2-1, and another added from who else but Fede Valverde, assisted by the substitute Marco Asensio, 3-1 the final. Yes, Asensio made it onto the pitch, and rightfully so, ahead of Eden Hazard. I recently did a video on Eden Hazard and how he is now healthy at Real Madrid, but he simply cannot get minutes. Some of the numbers will shock you, and it's sad to see how his stock has fallen in the last couple of years. Check that out if you have a moment. Atletico Madrid got a massive 2-1 victory away to Real Betis, with Antoine Griezmann scoring an Olímpico. Not the most beautiful Olímpico you'll see. For those who don't know what that is that I'm talking about, that's scored directly from a corner. But an Olímpico all the same. And recently, when I said he has been in great form, the goals and assist merchants out there got upset with me. Form can look beyond simple output, and the man has been playing well and is now starting to get the numbers too. I guess back that up. Not that you need numbers to back anything up when you're playing well, but it's helpful when you're an attacker. He of course scored later on, the goal that would be the match winner in the end, just slipping it through the legs of the keeper. Fekir with one for Betis to make the scoreline look nicer, but a 2-1 win for Atleti all the same. Villarreal got a late winner over Almería at the Estadio de la Cerámica, and this was a real character win. Sure, speak of the quality of Almería all you like, or lack thereof, Villarreal were down a man for the final 30 minutes of this match and still got the winner in the 94th minute via Nico Jackson. The funny thing is, Alejandro Bena, who was sent off for Villarreal, was sent off when he had scored the equalizer for his team. He was sent off for doing this. He got a second yellow. And what do you guys think of this? A bit bizarre, no? He didn't take his top all the way off. Ousmane Dembele take a bow, man. The guy scored a goal and got 3 assists in Barcelona's huge 4-0 win over Athletic Club at the Spotify Camp Nou. Wow. Athletic are, of course, no pushovers this season. Sure, they lost against Atleti 1-0 recently. Now they've been beaten by Barcelona. They're sort of settling into their natural place in the food chain, right? Big win ahead of a big week for them. Barcelona, that is, in the Champions League. So, Barca's win ensures, well, they could have lost and still held on to second. But it ensures that they're still 3 points behind Real Madrid, I guess. Wow, were we ever treated to a match on Saturday. Inter taking on Fiorentina, a 7-goal thriller that honestly, guys, you need to go and check out the highlights. By the way, whenever I say that, if you aren't aware already, most leagues have all of the highlights for their matches on their official YouTube channels. Bundesliga, Serie A, and La Liga in particular. The Premier League are, of course, the weirdos that have cut themselves up into a million pieces for exclusive broadcasting deals around the world, cut themselves up like a Horcrux so you can't see them centrally. But at least specific teams have highlights on their official channels, specific teams in the Premier League. But anyway, yeah, Inter versus Fiorentina. Barella cannot stop scoring as he has already scored more goals than any other Serie A season previously. He scored after just 2 minutes. After a quarter of an hour, Lautaro showed his class with a brilliant solo goal. He's looking very good going into this World Cup for Argentina, isn't he? After an hour, Fiorentina had managed to draw themselves level, only for Lautaro to put Inter back ahead 3-2 with a penalty, won it, and converted it. And then the ending. In the 90th minute, Luka Jovic scored a brilliant acrobatic goal to make it 3-3, and no doubt Fiorentina thought they had finished things off and would leave with a point. Henrik Mkhitaryan chose an incredible time to score his first Inter goal, however, in the 95th minute. Not a beautiful goal. I mean, the ball from Barella was nice, but the attempted clearance from the defender going off of Mickey and into the goal was a bit unfortunate for Fiorentina. 4-3 Inter, the final. AC Milan played against the other Milan side. Well, not really. They're about 30 minutes outside of Milan, but they of course have Galliani and Berlusconi involved with the club, so it's got that old Milan vibe to it, you know? Anyway, they certainly don't play as well as AC Milan, as Brahim Diaz was in some great form, great solo goal, collecting the ball in the middle of the pitch and running through the middle of Monza's defense before rolling it past the keeper. He would get Milan's second as well, not before Tata Rusanu made a couple of brilliant saves, one of which from a point-blank header, the other from a Sensi strike from distance. Brahim, I mean, he looked like an informed striker with his second. Great ball in from Origi, the turn and finish from Brahim. Origi would get his own goal later, his first since joining AC Milan, to go along with his first assist, and Rafael Leão would, their substitute, would later on score 5 goals and 5 assists in Serie A from 10 appearances. Another very solid season thus far for Rafael Leão. And by the way, if you want a feel-good story, then do be sure to watch the video I did on Rafael Leão recently, the story of his struggles in childhood, the pressure of being dubbed better than Ronaldo by his U16 coaches at Sporting. It's great to see him winning at life, on the pitch these days. Lazio are starting to look fantastic under Sarri, aren't they? They got an incredibly impressive 2-0 win away to Atalanta. Quick one-touch passing all the way up the pitch at times. Zaccagni and Felipe Anderson with the goals. Lazio are threatening, man. Looking like Sarri ball is back on the menu, boys. Another team that had been flying in Serie A, just as Atalanta had, Udinese, they fell 2-1 at home to Torino, surprisingly. Bad weeks for Atalanta and Udinese. Juventus, they beat down on Empoli. Much better from Allegri and the fellas, beating down on teams that you'd hope they would be able to beat with ease, and they did so. 4-0, McKennie was great. He scored alongside Kane with the first two, and then a brace from Adrien Rabiot made the scoreline far more appetizing for Juve supporters. Good form as they go away to Benfica midweek for a massive game. Benfica beat Porto this past weekend, by the way. And of course, Roma and Napoli was a big highlight of the weekend in Italy. This was a fun match, as it was end-to-end stuff. The big talk of the first half being that Rui Patricio and Ndombele collision, initially called as a penalty, but upon reviewing it, it was overturned as Patricio got the ball prior to touching Ndombele, barely. Not sure how I felt about that one, as the touch on the ball was pretty slight, and when you compare it to the Lautaro penalty that was awarded versus Fiorentina, it's just a lack of consistency once again amongst referees in Italy. The second half saw heroics from Victor Osimhen. What a show of speed and strength. He ate up those yards, out-muscled Chris Smalling, and then ripped it into the far corner from a tight angle. Great goal from him, such a powerful goal. And yes, Smalling didn't look fantastic there, but that shouldn't overshadow his overall play from that match. He was quite good prior. 1-0 Napoli as they face a big test in AS Roma at the Stadio Olimpico, and they win it. That means their lead at the top of the table is a full 3 points over AC Milan, who, as things begin to shake out, are right on their tails again. Lazio and Atalanta aren't far off either, and what a race we have in Italy after 11 matches. Still a long way to go, of course, but long may this tight competition remain at the top. Saturday started with a surprise, but first off, we must apologize. Last weekend, I spoke of how the optics of Cooper getting his contract extended with Forest was weird, but after their 1-0 win over Liverpool, it is clear that Cooper is truth, and we apologize to Mr. Cooper and to those in the comments that said, hey, he's actually good. Sorry. But honestly, it had to be former Liverpool boy Taiwo Awoniyi who scored the goal for the Tricky Trees. Dean Henderson made some big saves along the way. Forrest hitting the post while Alisson was way up the pitch for set pieces. This was just a really fun watch. What a game. What a result for Forest over Liverpool. Proof that one result doesn't mean you're back, nor does it mean you're in a rut, you know? Haaland did Haaland things, scoring a brace in City's win over Brighton, 3-1 there. The first goal was an absolute smash and grab. Brilliant ball forward from Ederson. The man can ping it. Great speed and strength from Haaland to take it around the keeper and then belly bump the defender away from him. Later, Bernardo was fouled in the box and Haaland converted for his 17th goal in 11 matches in the Premier League. Just insane. It doesn't make sense. The only team he's failed to score against have been teams, Liverpool and Bournemouth. De Bruyne with a lovely goal in the second half from distance to make it 3-1. Job done. Fulham got a massive 3-2 win over Leeds. After going 1-0 down, they stormed to a 3-1 lead at Elland Road as Jesse Marsch's famous lack of defending came back to hurt Leeds again. To be fair, Leeds were defending horribly under Bielsa as well, so Marsch just continued that tradition in a sense. But defensive solidity has never really been something he's been known for, so it's no surprise to see that being a problem again. While his side did indeed pull one back, this was another dark mark on Leeds' season as they conceded all 3 goals from set pieces. The players say they want him to stay, and they're behind him. Marsch says that he wants to stay and get a chance to turn things around. We'll see what happens. Another team that is in trouble is Wolves. They got slapped at home by a fellow struggler in Leicester City. 4-0. 4-0. Leicester beat Wolves 4-0 at Molineux, which is just a terrible result. It leaves them in the bottom 3 on just 9 points alongside the likes of Leeds and Forest. Not good company to keep at the moment. Another struggler, Aston Villa, who sacked Steven Gerrard, got a big win over Brentford, which is a bit of a surprise, I guess, in a way. Brentford is hard to get a read on this season as they are quite simply inconsistent. 4-0 for Aston Villa, getting that caretaker manager bounce, as they say. Aaron Danks as the caretaker. What a name. And what a Premier League managerial record for Aaron Danks. 1 match, 1 4-0 win. Time to retire a happy man. Everton smashed the Crystal. That's not how you should refer to them. We're talking Palace, of course, but Everton smashed them all the same. Calvert-Lewin, Gordon, and Dwight McNeil with the goals as Lampard's sneaky toffees continue to make their way up the table. Mind you, it's still very early, I guess. I guess I should denote that. 4 points separate 11th from 20th. Xhaka's fantastic form continues with a goal against Southampton, but Arsenal were held at 1-1, just as Manchester United held Chelsea to 1-1 at Stamford Bridge, or maybe Chelsea held United at 1-1, depending how you want to look at it. What a difference in this United side. From that performance against Man City in which they were humiliated, they look like a completely different team now. They've well and truly found their stride and found the personnel that can pull off Ten Hag's tactics and vision. All they were missing is a finisher. Nobody in their squad is capable of being a regular finisher, it seems, unfortunately, besides perhaps Anthony Martial, who is out injured until about the end of the month, it looks like, maybe the end of this week. He's been the most clinical amongst all of the strikers when you look at his goals per minute ratio, by far, 133 minutes across all competitions. That's it! And he has 3 goals and 2 assists. Anyway, United dominated Chelsea and were nearly very unlucky as Jorginho converted a penalty to snatch away all 3 points, but Casemiro's looping header just crossed the line to snatch a draw away to Chelsea. United and Chelsea both moving in the right direction now. Potter remains undefeated at Chelsea still, but this was a close call once again for him. And of course, Newcastle United looked very good against Tottenham, grabbing a 2-1 win away. And as we check the scores and standings here, Newcastle United are actually in the top 4 at the moment, though both Chelsea and United have a match in hand. No guarantees that they'll win those matches, of course, but just worth noting. Arsenal's lead was cut down to 2 points with that draw, and look at high-flying Fulham. That is it, everyone. I can't wait for this week as we have some incredibly important Champions League matches and I got some content coming at you. I won't have any time for watch-alongs this week, but hey, we'll hopefully get back to that for the following week. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Do subscribe if you're new, join our community, and we'll see you in the next video. Ciao.